The next speakers ground us in today's conversation, and we're going to start with 4 visions on leveraging technology in education to empower girls and women. I'm delighted to say, because people who know me know that I'm passionate about learner voice, we'll be starting with a student perspective from Ashley Olafsen. Then we'll hear from Nancy Hafkin, a pioneer in the area of using technology to empower girls and women. Our third speaker is Dorothy Okello, who will address how ICT is being used to enhance educational opportunities and the socio-economic well-being for women and girls in Uganda. And I take my hat off to Dorothy for a very long journey from which she seems to have recovered much better than I have from my rather shorter journey from London. Finally, we'll hear from Barbara Eriksson from Georgia Tech and winner of the 2010 Carl V. Karlstrom Outstanding Computing Educator Award. So we have those 4 speakers next, and I hand over to others to announce them.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ashley Olafsen, student, creator, public speaker, writer, and advocate, Hopkinton High School, United States of America.
Good morning. When I first accepted this speech, I was so excited. It seemed like the focus of this conference was on girls in leadership. Now, I create and deliver self-confidence workshops, so it seemed like this conference was right in my comfort zone. However, after a few initial speech attempts and some very helpful constructive criticism, I quickly realized that this speech was much more information technology and computing focused than I had originally thought. I learned that I needed to give a speech on things that chief technology officers in the United States could actually impact, and I needed to reach an international audience as well. When I realized this, I freaked out because honestly, my experience with tech has been limited. I seriously considered backing down because I was so overwhelmed and stressed out by the thought that I would need to speak about something like IT to people of so much influence. Again, before doing this, I didn't even know what IT stood for. I'm a little embarrassed telling you this story because I almost quit so easily, and I am definitely not a quitter. However, this is a very important story to tell because of what happened next. I went to my advisor, Mrs. Worrell, who is in charge of my independent study, and I explained to her how worried I was. She asked me if I would ever consider taking an engineering course. I'm sorry to disappoint, but I responded with a resounding no. All right, she said, why wouldn't you even entertain the thought? And I told her, it sounds too hard, it sounds boring, it's what my dad does, and there's really just no point to it. Okay, she said. She commented that my bias and fear against the very unfamiliar world of STEM is very similar to plenty of girls out there, including your female students. So if we're acting on that belief, what can you all do as educators to get a girl like me, who is overwhelmed by the thought of IT, to become interested in STEM fields? And I have 2 answers for you. The first way that you can get me interested in STEM is by showing me how STEM can apply to my life. Not in 20 years when I'm a scientist. I want to see how it can apply right now. And the second way that you can get me interested is by showing me people that I can actually relate to. So for the first story, on December 18th, 2013, an amazing girl a year younger than me named Abby Benford passed away. She had an anaphylactic reaction, and the entire town was absolutely heartbroken. We didn't see it coming. My friend Kate was particularly close with Abby, and my friend Kate goes to a Math and Science Academy. Each year, the Math and Science Academy has an open-ended science fair. So for Kate's project, she created a device that you attach to EpiPens. So when the EpiPen is injected, 911 is immediately dialed. She is 16 years old, and she's currently finalizing her prototype and has a tentative patent. She's saving lives. Now here's the thing. Kate learned about computer-aided design, 3D printing, how to code an Android app, electronics, and circuitry. All things that if I look at them, they just look like a laundry list of very overwhelming things that I don't want to be involved with. But there was a bigger picture to it, and there was a point to it, and that's what made it so interesting. When you allow students to create something with their own interests and ambitions, it becomes meaningful, worthwhile, and fun. So the first way that you can get girls involved and interested in STEM is by showing them the point to it, and by showing them how it can be meaningful. Now, the second way that you can get me interested is by showing me role models. In AP US History, junior year, I learned about Jane Addams, an unbelievable woman who is famous for her social work and activism. Historically, she is one of the only women that is recognized as self-actualized. It sounds kind of foolish, but before learning about her, I had never really connected or thought about the fact that pursuing social justice and doing good in the world could be a legitimate career path. And I think that learning about Jane Addams is one of the reasons why I want to devote my life to doing good and to social causes. No one that I have ever learned about in any of my science or math courses have ever had this kind of impact on me, and it's largely because our curriculum is so male-dominated. While there may be Marie Curie, she is really only one compared to Newton, Dalton, Thomson, Bohr, Bill Nye the Science Guy. The list just goes on and on and on and on. If you want to reach out to underrepresented groups, and you want to get them interested in STEM, you need to show them people that they can relate to. If students can't see themselves, they're going to lose interest. It's just that simple. And science proves this. There was a study conducted a couple years ago, and there was a fake article written, and it was about a fake character named Nathan Jackson. So they handed out this fake article to a couple of Yale freshmen. And here's how the fake story goes. Nathan Jackson comes onto campus. He really isn't sure what he wants to pursue or do with his life. He ends up developing a liking for math, and he ends up having a happy and successful career in a math department. At the end of this story, there is a couple of small facts about him. For example, his hometown and his birthday. Here's the catch. For exactly half the students, Nathan Jackson's birthday was altered to match the student who was reading the article. Afterwards, they tested everyone on a couple of math problems. Here's what they found. The students who believed that they had the same birthday as this made-up character had significantly more positive attitudes about math, and they persisted a whopping 65% longer on insolvable math problems. If this is the kind of impact that one birthday incident will have on a couple of students, can you even imagine how powerful repeated gendered examples would be? And having a role model is seriously so important. I create and deliver, I send out an online weekly newsletter. You can all sign up for it, Project Move Weekly. And so I've been working on a book for the past 2 years. And one week, a few months ago, I decided that I was going to include some of my writing in my newsletter. So the piece that I included was about how important it is we have female exposure in both the classroom and in the media. I go to a school with a girl named Emily Lukowitz, and she signs up for my weekly newsletter, and I got this message from her. She wrote, "In 7th grade, we were supposed to pick a scientist from a list to research, and I ended up picking Dorothy Hodgkin. I found out that she had done amazing work with investigating the structure of biomolecules, and she was the 3rd woman to win a Nobel Prize in chemistry. Learning about her is the reason why I am interested in molecular biology and want to study it in college." She's now going off to college to study that. It's just that simple. And I want to say, I understand that historically, men's growth has been fostered, whereas women's growth has been limited. And I understand that the reason why we've only learned about men is because they have advanced society forward in ways that women simply have not. But this kind of curriculum just isn't true today. And it's both an injustice to the women out there, as well as dangerous to keep perpetuating this only male-dominated curriculum. This is a much more equal classroom, and that is what we should be striving towards, because there are women out there that are pursuing these things. Now, I was editing my friend Juliet Davis's English essay last week, and she was talking about how important female representation is. And Juliet concluded her essay with this line: "What is taught to young girls today determines how far they will go tomorrow." And I could not think of a better way to put into words what I am trying to say. In conclusion, if educators helped me apply STEM to my life and showed me girls like myself, I think that I could get extremely excited about the world of STEM. Thank you very much.